Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff with Mind Body Cheer, back with my sixth video. That's right, I'm on two hands now. In a series on mental blocks. Today I wanted to discuss athletes coming back from injury. In my work with athletes who experience mental blocks, one of the biggest factors is injury. The reason being is that injury has with it a lot of trauma. Now the trauma is multifactored. The first is the athlete continuing to re-experience the fall or re-experiencing the feel of pain where the injury occurred. That coupled with the emotional trauma of letting your team down or the disappointment of knowing that you're not going to be able to perform at that next weekend's competition, all put together as the perfect storm for a mental block. I put together 5 tips for everybody to use to help them eliminate the possibility of a mental block. The first tip is to stay conditioned. With the okay from a doctor or a physical therapist, it's important to make sure that you condition the parts of your body that are not injured. So for most athletes, that's going to be keeping your core conditioned and your lower back conditioned so that they stay your power centers and that you come back just as strong as when you left. I also suggest within staying conditioned to work on an area of your body that you don't normally focus on. For most of you out there, it's going to be your shoulders. You're either going to be overly flexible or too inflexible. So work on your shoulder, either strength or flexibility. That's going to definitely help you coming back, feeling stronger and feeling ready to tumble. The second is using visualization. Now, typically with visualization, the idea is to help your body be prepared to be able to focus on flipping again. It's also to help your brain see and feel what it's going to be like to be in that environment. There are many different great tools on YouTube, as well as just Googling visualization on ways in which you can, on a nightly basis, when you're injured, to help yourself come back from that injury and be prepared when the doctor clears you. The third step is by setting realistic expectations. This is for when you begin to start practicing again. Unrealistic expectations would be expecting yourself to be able to tumble right away, to be performing those same skills you were when you were injured. Rather, realistic expectations would be to recognize what you're feeling within your body and continuing to progress slowly every day. That brings us to step 4, which is to pace ourselves. When you pace yourself, what you're doing is essentially allowing your ANS, that's the part of your brain that stores the fight or flight response, to slowly get comfortable or acclimated to tumbling again. When we pace ourselves, what we do is we start with our basics. We start with those level 1 skills like back walkovers and cartwheels and roundoffs so that our body gets used to tumbling again. Then we slowly turn up the heat. Again, the key word is slowly turn up the heat so that our body starts to challenge itself. The setting realistic expectations and pacing yourselves are one of the key components together to making sure that the athlete doesn't experience a mental block when coming back from an injury. The 5th and final tip are for you coaches and parents. It's important that you are a supportive source for the athlete rather than the source of pressure. It is not realistic to expect an athlete to come back from an injury and immediately be thrown back into the routine doing everything they were before they were injured. It's important that the athlete slowly get used to tumbling with that injury. Sure, it's healed and that's why the doctor cleared it, but remember, the athlete experienced a trauma and it's important that we slowly warm up the athlete to that. To not allow an athlete to slowly warm up and to not allow an athlete to lead themselves to trust their own instincts is going to be detrimental. And it's actually one of the largest causes of mental block, an athlete coming back too quickly. If you have any other questions, or if you would like to know more, feel free to email me at mindbodycheer@gmail.com. Until next time, everybody, be well.